All right, let's get to it here. 215-592-9494. So the news on the later side of last night related to Joel Embiid that he's going to be getting surgery. And, Adrian Wojnarowski putting it out there. And, Joel's going to undergo a procedure this week for his left meniscus injury. I love how the Sixers call it an injury, not a tear. Who knows? But left meniscus injury, and is expected to miss what is being referred to by Adrian Wojnarowski as a, quote, extended period of time. So, look, our opportunity to react, it's not a surprise, frankly, because we knew, obviously, given the fact that he'd gotten hurt, he was going to be out for some chunk of time. The question was how long. We still don't know how long. John, your reaction to the news of Embiid from last night?
This is the right move. This is certainly the move that I would hope Joel and the Sixers would take. This is the, hey, I'm committed to this season. I'm all in, guys. This is not something that we as fans should take lightly. Think about what he's doing here. The options that he had, one of them was to try to rest and, recuperate and try to rehab this to avoid this surgery. What this surgery is going to do is shave away some of the cushion in his knee. And they were trying to avoid that possibility because once that's shaved away, it's not coming back. At least that was the thought previously. Yeah. Now they can try to do some things and, regrow it in a petri dish and things like that. But once upon a time, that was the end. Like as soon as they shaved it away, there's nothing else. You're gonna have less cushion in that knee forever.
The guy won't go as long deep into his career.
Yeah. So this is a commitment from Joel and from the Sixers that this season really does matter. He's going all in by having this surgery for this season. And it makes me feel like, hey, the other options are not off the table. If Joel is having this surgery, it is quite possible that Daryl Morey is going to go move and find a way to bring Kyle Lowry in. I don't know the specifics, but make a move that makes us better or make multiple moves that give us the chances that we need to win a world championship this year. Joel's in. Daryl Morey is going to be in also. We should be excited about what this team can do this year because the timing of this is completely different than what we've seen in previous years, Joe. Like the timing of the Joel injury, it was later in those seasons. This time around, he can get back and right and actually feel good and in shape.
But I'll tell you this, I don't feel good. I mean, listen, I hear, John, you're pumped up that he's getting the surgery, and fine.
It's a commitment from Joel.
You know what?
I like that.
Can I tell you what
he believes that he can win this year? That's great.
Can I tell you what it is? The whole freaking thing's bad news. The whole thing. All right? I'm a Philadelphia sports fan, 45 years old. I've been waiting to see the Sixers do something meaningful for years, and the guy's hurt again. He's always hurt. It always
It's what happens, though. Guys do get hurt when they play these sports, and yes, it does feel like, man, year after year, it's always this guy.
John,
but this year can be different. This year is earlier.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think he's actually going to be right for the playoffs? Because I don't.
Yes, I think he can actually be right for the playoffs.
And here's what I mean by right.
I think this year, for the first time that we've seen, he can actually be, like they can time this up so he's physically perfectly prepared.
We'll present it to everyone at 215-592-9494. Your reaction to the news from last night about the Embiid surgery. But to me, this is what it really comes down to. And I'll pose it to you. And again, we're all just being, playing doctor here on WIP at 215-592-9494. Do you think Joel will actually be right for the postseason? I don't. And let me be very clear what right means. Right means the version that you saw in the first half of the season, when he was MVP guy,
scoring a point a minute,
is
the dominant,
is what you get in the postseason. I think he's
better than Jokic.
I think he's going to be sourpuss in the postseason. I will give him credit for trying to play because I think it's admirable that he tries to play through injuries. He's going to be back, but he's going to probably be back earlier than he should be. Like I do not have high hopes, to use a Phillies term. I do not have high hopes that we will get the greatness of Embiid in April and May.
You need to wipe that idea from your mind.
John,
the mopey injured. Like
how can I not think that?
I'm saying he will be healed to where you're not going to see mopey injured Joel. This injury happened a lot earlier than all those other injuries. he's going to be better. He's going to be physically better than what we've seen in previous years.
All right, look, so we'll see on that, and we'll certainly take your phone calls at 215-592-9494. Let's also present the Eagles and put them right on the table out of the gate here, because I want to hear everyone's reaction to – I'm going to basically tell you 3 facts as we get ready for Super Bowl week, which I don't think we're really getting ready for. But as it relates to the Eagles, the 52-week difference last year to this year. Chelsea, I want you to tell me your reaction to the following 3 facts I'm going to give you. Fact number 1, last year at this time, we as a fan base were gearing up for a Super Bowl, really gearing up for a Super Bowl, that most of us were completely convinced the Eagles would win. Fact 2, now their butts are home, and by the way, have been for weeks, and their hearts have been home for 2 months. And fact number 3, oh, by the way, it's Kansas City and San Francisco in this Super Bowl. So 52 weeks ago, we thought they were about to win it. They had just beaten San Fran. They were surely going to beat KC. And now it's KC and San Fran, and the Eagles are collecting splinters the way the Detroit Lions did for half a century. Seltzer, what's your reaction?
Well, obviously it sucks is my initial reaction. Like, that sucks is the first thing that pops in my mind. Like, just very clearly. Like, well, that sucks.
Way to get to the chase.
Yeah. But also on the more positive side, it shows me that so much can change in a year in the NFL. I know that some things stay the same, Patrick Mahomes, but the fact that the Eagles went from being the team they were 2 years ago to almost winning the Super Bowl last year to what we just saw makes me feel positive or hopeful that they can go back to being good again next year, because things can change quick.
Look, I mean, that's one way to look at it, and we'll hear what you have to say at 215-592-9494. I mean, and again, all this in addition to Embiid and the injury, and we'll cover that all through the show, what they can do, how far the Sixers can stay atop the ranks in the East. Are they going to slip down to 5, 6, 7 without Joel for the next, likely 2 months, whatever it'll be. But on the Eagles front, what do you make of those facts? I mean, John, as I lay them out, last year we're getting ready for a Super Bowl. This year they've been home for weeks. It's the 49ers and the Chiefs. What's your reaction to that?
We didn't deserve to be there this year. And that does not mean we won't deserve to be there in the future, next year even. I don't know what it'll look like. I know that this year looked horrendous, and our players need to be better. Our coaches need to be better. They're making moves to make sure that's happening. I was really encouraged by some things that I saw just this weekend. And I know that we didn't have a whole lot, going on Eagles-wise this weekend, other than what you could scrape together from the Pro Bowl challenges and things like that. But, man, Jalen looked really exciting and good in ways that I did not anticipate this weekend.
At the Pro Bowl games?
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, the arm talent that – look. I was still a little bit nervous when he's doing like the arm skills challenge and you got different targets out there and some of them are moving. He was taking shots at the 5 spot that's like 35 yards away and moving away from the quarterback and way up in the air. It's like a throw that would be up in the concourse to the sandwich shop.
He can throw the ball. Was there
amazing.
Was there a pass rush?
No, but it was.
No, so he didn't have to keep his eyes on who's coming after him.
There was not a pass
He didn't
rush.
have to step up in the pocket.
The point is, his arm looked better than the other quarterbacks in the NFC.
He's got a fine arm.
His arm looked better than I expected. His arm looked special. And it looked like he had the confidence.
That's not the issue, but that's not the issue.
Arm, which was great to see. I'm telling you, watching him interact with the other players, that was great to see, because we've collected information. Hey, so there were times he didn't always mesh with the other guys.
Right.
We saw he and AJ fighting on the sideline. I saw him and these other stars around the NFL getting along. They were vibing. He was smiling. It was really cool to see him smiling and having fun. Seeing these guys get back to just enjoying it. Jason Kelsey's out there leading the offensive lineman. You can see he does not want to be done.
And this pumped you up as an Eagles fan?
Yes, because I don't think he wants to be done. I think Jason Kelsey's coming back, in part because we need him. We need him desperately to make these calls and things like that. But he's out there. You can see he can still do it. and that he still wants to do it. And I was once on a team that had a great interior lineman named Steve Wisniewski.
Yep.
We really needed, and our owner went and talked to him during the offseason and said, listen, Wiz, I know you're thinking of hanging it up. We need one more from you.
Wow.
I would anticipate just watching Kelsey out there, watching him love it. I would anticipate this team can ask that from him.
Well, look, we'll take your reaction on all of this at 215-592-9494, including, as I mentioned earlier, the reality that last year we're gearing up for a Super Bowl. We were convinced the Eagles would win, and now they've been home for weeks, and it feels like their spirit has been home for 2 months. I mean, my basic reaction to it is I'm totally annoyed by it. I mean, I got a franchise I'm convinced is in disarray.
You should be annoyed.
Yeah, I here's the way I look at it. Like, I don't want to hear any more talk, and we heard it a lot this year, about they're tired. Yeah, you know who should be tired? Kansas City and San Francisco. One team played till late January last year. The other team played in mid-February. The other team, by the way, partied after mid-February because they actually won the frickin' game. You know, and by the way, that team's been to at least late January, if not February, 6 straight years. So I don't want to hear about frickin' tired. I don't want to hear about tough schedule. Eagles had a tough schedule. Yeah, they did. They had a frickin' tough schedule. It's a first-place schedule. You know who also had a first-place schedule? The 49ers. You know who also had a first-place schedule? The Chiefs. So I don't want to hear about tired. I don't want to hear about schedule. I mean, James, I hear what you're saying. Yes. Does this prove it's topsy-turvy? Yes, it does. Yeah, I'll grant that. I will grant that. But I'm not really, frankly, in the mood. I certainly don't want to hear about Pro Bowl games. I know Jalen's got a nice arm. He's got a good arm. If there's no pass rush and there's no defense to read, then what's the point?
It's better than a nice arm. It's so much better than I thought. I still had some nerves as to whether he would have a good showing with this target practice thing. He was a sharpshooter.
Look, we'll take your reaction at 215-592-9494 to all of this, including Embiid. Your reaction to, obviously, the reality Embiid's going to be out for a while, as Adrian Wojnarowski is referring to it as an extended period of time. How long that could mean, we'll get into that. Will he be back for the playoffs? We certainly hope so. I mean, that's the goal, obviously, with getting this surgery done now. Where you stand on all of this. We'll get to it all with you on the phone lines. 215-592-9494. Your reaction to the weekend and everything going on in Philly sports. Joe DeCamera, John Ritchie. It is 94 WIP.